Have you noticed a quiet, almost imperceptible shift happening in the way some people are choosing to live? It is not a headline-grabbing migration. It does not inspire viral news stories. It happens subtly, quietly, almost invisibly, but its significance may be profound. Across the world, a growing number of individuals are leaving the bustling city behind, seeking a life that feels more grounded, more real, more connected. They are moving away from the concrete, the traffic, the endless hum of urban existence, and toward forests, fields, rivers, and villages. Why is this happening? What are these individuals sensing that seems to elude the majority? And what might their choices reveal about the deeper currents shaping our civilization today? For most of human history, we existed within small communities intimately tied to the natural world. The cycles of day and night, of seasons, of planting and harvesting structured our lives. Survival was inseparable from attentiveness to nature. Our communities were woven tightly together. People knew each other's names, faces, and stories. Help, joy, sorrow, and celebration were shared directly face to face. Human life was concrete, communal, and rooted in tangible rhythms. Then, in an extraordinarily short span of history, industrialization and urbanization reshaped everything. Cities expanded, swallowing forests and farmlands. Machines dictated the tempo of work, replacing solar and seasonal cycles. Communities dispersed, replaced by anonymity in the endless streets and apartment blocks of metropolises. Urban life became synonymous with progress. Running water, electricity, modern medicine, abundant consumer goods, these were signs of development. The move from countryside to city was celebrated as a leap forward, and indeed, measured by many standards, life improved, lifespans lengthened. Diseases that had devastated humanity were controlled or eradicated. Hunger diminished in many regions. Human civilization achieved material successes unprecedented in our history, but in recent decades, a paradox has emerged. Despite these advances, a new kind of scarcity has appeared, not of food, not of shelter, not of medicine, but of meaning, connection, and purpose. In the richest, most technologically advanced societies, depression, anxiety, and loneliness have reached epidemic proportions. We live in proximity to millions of strangers, yet feel profoundly isolated. We have instant access to infinite information, yet struggle to feel grounded or fulfilled. What is missing in our lives? What essential aspect of human experience has been lost amid all our material comfort and digital connectivity? Perhaps we are confronting a form of emotional and spiritual malnutrition. Just as the body requires certain nutrients, our inner lives require connection, purpose, rhythm, and direct engagement with the natural and human worlds. Cities, with their relentless pace, artificial environments, and superficial social interactions, may not provide these essential elements. This is visible in a growing societal yearning for mindfulness, meditation, and other practices that encourage presence. People are flocking to retreats in natural settings. There is an increasing interest in psychedelics, plant medicines, and other avenues to recover a sense of transcendence. These trends reflect a deep desire to reclaim something essential that urban life has obscured. It is in this context that the subtle migration to rural areas becomes meaningful. This is not a religious exodus or a countercultural rebellion in the sense of the 1960s. It is not dramatic or highly publicized. Rather, it is pragmatic, experimental, and diverse. Those who move often do not abandon modernity entirely. Instead, they seek to integrate into a life that better meets the needs of their bodies, minds, and spirits. Remote work enabled by the internet, renewable energy solutions, online commerce, and digital communities allow these individuals to live away from urban centers without sacrificing connectivity or comfort entirely. Ironically, the very technologies that contributed to the alienation of city life are now helping people reconnect with nature, community, and purpose, what are these people truly searching for? First, they seek rhythm with the natural world. City life isolates us from day and night, seasonal shifts, weather patterns, and ecological processes. Artificial light and climate control disconnect us from circadian and seasonal cycles. In contrast, rural life restores awareness of these patterns. Waking with the sunrise, observing the progression of seasons, participate in food cultivation. These are not merely nostalgic activities. They recalibrate human life to the patterns to which our bodies, minds, and psyches evolved to respond. Second, they seek richer social bonds. In cities, we often know many people superficially, but few intimately. Urban interactions are frequently transactional, segmented, and mediated by professional or social roles. In small communities, people inhabit multiple roles in each other's lives, creating a multidimensional, interconnected social fabric. The recognition and support that arise from such networks satisfy a deep human need to be seen, acknowledged, and understood. Third, they seek direct engagement with the essentials of life. In cities, water, food, and energy arrive through opaque systems we rarely consider. This convenience erodes our sense of connection to the natural systems that sustain life. Rural life allows a renewed awareness and participation. Gardening, collecting water, generate energy, building with local materials, and contributing to community-based resource cycles. These practices cultivate not only practical skills, but also a sense of agency and groundedness. These motivations are not naive or escapist. Many participants are educated, aware of global challenges, and technologically literate. They experiment with new approaches to living sustainably and resiliently. Small, localized communities are inherently more adaptable to ecological, economic, or social disruptions than sprawling urban centers dependent on centralized infrastructure. What might appear as eccentricity may actually be the beginning of an adaptive shift or response to emerging 21st century realities. Yet, the movement remains largely invisible. It lacks centralized leadership, manifestos, or formal structures. Media and institutions, dependent on urban-centered economic and social models, often overlook decentralized, emergent alternatives. Moreover, it quietly challenges foundational assumptions about progress, that advancement equates to urbanization, material accumulation, and globalized integration. There is also a paradox at play. Many of those leaving the city intensively use modern technologies to support their new lives: remote work, renewable energy, digital collaboration, and knowledge sharing. This illustrates a critical truth. Technology itself is neutral. It is the purpose and values guiding its use that determine its impact. A smartphone, a computer, or the internet can be alienating, or it can enable profound connection and empowerment, depending on intention and context. In essence, this is not a rejection of modernity, but a conscious reshaping of the human-technology relationship. People are seeking to recover agency, using tools to serve meaningful human purposes rather than and allowing themselves to be directed by systems designed for consumption, distraction. Ultimately, this subtle rural migration is more than a lifestyle choice. It may represent a significant evolution in the way humans inhabit the planet and experiment, blending technological knowledge with ancestral wisdom, creating communities that are resilient, purposeful, and in rhythm with nature. Those now considered marginal or unconventional may be pioneers, exploring ways of life that could become increasingly relevant in the decades ahead. Small-scale, distributed innovations often precede systemic change. What is happening on these rural margins may eventually illuminate paths for the broader human civilization. The lesson may be that progress does not have to mean urban density or hyperconnectivity. Perhaps it lies, instead, in the integration of modern tools with the timeless needs of body, mind, and spirit. Reconnecting with nature, cultivating authentic relationships, and reclaiming agency over our life. These may be the essential foundations for thriving in the world that is emerging,